Welcome to Prime Testimony Channel. Today we are going to look at marriage, and I am blessed to have a beautiful young lady who is well versed in marriage affairs. I would want her to introduce herself. Then we'll pick it from there. You are welcome, madam.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Can you please give us a little introduction of yourself?
Yes, definitely. My name is Mercy Mausiko Koi. I have been married for the past 17 years, in fact, blissful marriage. And I happen to mother 3 children, 2 biological and 1 adopted. They are young men now. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Auntie Mercy. Auntie Mercy, can you tell us something about marriage? How do you see it? Where do you think marriage comes from? Who even instituted it? Tell us all you know about marriage.
Thank you very much for the question. Marriage is a beautiful thing. In fact, if you ask me, I will say it's one of the most beautiful acts of the Creator Himself. So God Himself ordained marriage in the Garden of Eden. Marriage was created by God Himself. And someone may say, Adam just got Eve. Eve was brought to Adam by God, was brought to Adam by God. But let me tell you, young man, that Adam never got Eve for free entirely.
I see.
Adam had to pay a price. He had to pay with his rib. Yes. So young man, please don't sit somewhere and get somebody's daughter and just go in for the one without paying the price. You must pay the price. Christ, when He wanted to have the church as a bride, Christ paid dearly with His blood. And He said, by His rib, He was pierced by the rib. And then water and blood gushed out. That was the bride price. Christ Himself paid for the church, for redeeming the church. And so, young man, don't just take somebody's daughter and say it was mutual agreement and, for that matter, mutual pleasure. There is nothing like that. If you need to marry, please, you must pay the price for it, because Adam paid the price.
All right, thank you. But Auntie Mercy, do you think it is a justification for, fathers and sometimes mothers to quote some huge bride prices? If you can clarify the payments of the price, I'll be very grateful. And I think your audience will be glad if you would, expatiate on that point.
Right. The bride price should not be over exaggerated. Yeah. I mean, we are not selling the daughters. So usually I say that, yes, families have their standard bride prices, okay? I don't usually endorse a woman to pay part of the bride price. Sometimes it happens in some settings where the woman maybe is coerced or just agrees to support the man to pay her bride price. I never subscribe to that thing. So if the bride price comes out and the man feels that it's a bit high or it's on the high side, I think that's when negotiation skills comes in right from the beginning. So the man should master courage. Probably the family says bring 6 cloths, and what you can afford is 3 or 4. Why not negotiate with the family? I mean, we are becoming one family, and so I actually endorse negotiation, rather than the woman saying that, the man saying I can afford 4 and the woman saying I can add 2 to it to make the 6. No, I don't subscribe to that. So whatever you are able to afford, let the family know, and I will encourage parents to agree to that. At least young men who want to start life, should start life modestly, whatever the person has and can afford. It's better that way, to agree for such a one to have a peaceful marriage than, there are others who can give you 10 times what you are requesting, but probably they may not give your daughter the kind of peace they want. to live happily.
That's beautiful. So right now, let's see. The young man has seen the woman. He has gone to see the family. All the negotiations and everything has been done. Even the wedding has been done. Right now, they have come to live in their own home. What else?
That's a beautiful question. So I tell young people that the marriage is not the wedding. The wedding is an event. So it's just one time and it's gone. But the marriage lives on. And it's so interesting how couples get certificates even before they begin the relationship, because God expects a pass, an automatic pass, as you progress. So, yes, God says that He created marriage as an institution. So just look at marriage as any institution. It could be a school. Okay, so a school as an institution has a principal, and probably an assistant, a deputy, or a headmaster, an assistant headmaster. Then there are the departments, partitioned into departments for effective management. And then there are units and things like that. So see marriage as such. So once we get married, now real work begins. And interestingly, marriage calls for some kind of basic knowledge in many areas. So departments, as we marry, you see financial department or the finance unit coming in, where we have to manage our finances. What comes in? What are the inflows? Is there something we could add on to give us additional income? Because let me tell you, marriage without good finances suffers a lot.
All right, so let's continue with the departments, Auntie Mercy.
All right, so I mentioned the finance department earlier, and we can have the land
construction. Building construction.
Building and construction department, where, well, maybe for a start, you are just renting somebody's home, but long term, you may think about acquiring a plot of land and maybe putting something modest on it to be fitting for the family. So it comes in. So how are we going to do that? And so it calls for long-term planning, how we are able to invest enough to help us to be able to do that. And then we have the children's department. You start, pregnancy comes in, and then you deliver, and then you have
I'm really enjoying myself.
Children. And so it's a must to school yourself about the proper way of raising children to be able to support whatever you are doing. Then we have the janitorial. Yes, the home should be clean all the time. The kitchen, wherever, should be very, very clean. We have the catering department, where parents should ensure that we are eating well and living healthily. And so many other, even education departments, where the children must be put in school, which schools must they go to, and which extracurricular activities must they go through to make them, holistic human beings. And so all these things are part of the marriage. And so I think most of the time we struggle because our attention is not drawn to it, to caution us that, well, even if we don't know, there are people who know. We can learn. The church is one of the major adult education centers, and a lot of training and education goes on right in the church. Just that sometimes we don't pay attention to what happens in the church and the fact that it can benefit the kind of life we live daily.
In fact, I'm really enjoying myself. Yes, I've heard marriage is an institution, but I've never thought of it that it's an institution that has department. So let's go through some of the you mentioned education department, building and construction, the janitorial, and is there any other departments also in marriage? Especially looking at those things that bring fight. Issue of sex, I'm sure it's something that we will find time and talk about it. Do you have do you have sex department, or it's under something?
it's emotional, social-emotional department.
Oh, that's wonderful.
How we relate to each other.
I see.
And even communication is part of social-emotional, how we communicate to each other and things like that. And these are basics. In fact, communication and sexual relations are major There are major issues when it comes, even conflict resolution department, where, because if in marriage, if in that relationship there are no conflicts, then we are hypocrites, because we are two individuals raised from two backgrounds, from different parents, probably different environments, who have come together. So conflict just says that we don't agree on something based on our worldview, okay? And so any conflict must be amicably resolved. Yeah, very, very much amicably resolved so that we can continue.
Yo, Auntie Mercy. Auntie Mercy, I think the issue of sex in marriage is something big that I think we have to find time to talk about it. But before I let you go, I want to ask a simple question. Is sex important at all in marriage? You share something little with us before the main one comes. Is sex important? What's your view?
Very interesting question. So, blood flows through the human body to sustain life. So once blood ceases to flow in the body, something happens. The body dies. And so that's the end of the human life. Please, sex and marriage is like the flow of blood in the marriage. Marriage without sex is just, it will be stale, and over time die off. It is sex that is the powerhouse. It sustains the marriage, it sustains friendship, it sustains companionship. And so we cannot talk about marriage without emphasizing the issue about having sex.